Hi everyone, my name is Aaliyah Hirji and I'm a junior from Novi High School here in the state of Michigan. Welcome to our 2020 Tech Series and thank you for joining us.
Hi everyone, my name is Matsi Nima and I'm also from Novi High School and we are so excited to be here today as your moderators of this panel.
Today we have Chinmayi Balusu, founder and CEO of Simply Neuroscience. Chinmayi, would you be able to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course, and thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Chinmayi Balusu. I'm the founder and CEO of Simply Neuroscience, which is an international nonprofit org dedicated to fostering students' interdisciplinary interests in the brain. Outside of Simply Neuroscience, I'm currently in college. I'm an undergrad student, a rising sophomore at Columbia University in New York City, where I'm still technically undeclared, but I'm hoping to pursue the life sciences and medical humanities. Outside of neuroscience, I am involved with a multitude of different clubs and raising awareness about things such as traumatic brain injury, mental health, and science education and outreach. I'm passionate about furthering girls in STEM advocacy through organizations such as 500 Women Scientists. Outside of research and STEM advocacy, I am a practicing martial artist. I'm a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I love it with all my heart. I'm originally from Northern California, so I love being outside and exploring nature. And when I'm not outside, you can usually find me curled up in a book or listening to music. So that's a little bit about me.
Chinmayi, thank you so much for introducing yourself. You are so inspiring and we're really excited to have you on our panel here today. So our first question is, what are some opportunities that women in STEM can really take advantage of in college?
There's absolutely a myriad of opportunities out there in college. A couple things that I can think of off the top of my head are a variety of clubs to get involved in, research opportunities or internship opportunities, very interesting classes, conferences that happen regularly, and just a network of amazing alumni and advisors along the way. So I guess I'll start in the reverse order, but alumni networks. Most colleges have pretty strong connections with previous students who went there, alumni, and especially a lot of very powerful and inspiring women in STEM are available to connect with and speak with about their journeys. That's a wonderful resource to keep in mind. Research opportunities and advisors. Most universities have an advising office that can connect you with internships and wet lab or hands-on science research opportunities. So it's always something to keep a lookout for, and of course, never be afraid to reach out to something if you are interested in an opportunity. There's also a wonderful, wonderful collection of female-based and STEM-oriented clubs on campus that just honestly are a wonderful community of personal and professional development. And you can truly learn a lot from other peers in STEM. And classes-wise, it may depend on your major and your college, but I honestly have found that there's extreme flexibility in the number of STEM courses and the type of STEM courses that I can take. So even going beyond like a set major with interdisciplinary classes such as public health or global health are things that I'm interested in personally. And so I find that making the space to take those really interesting classes in college has opened up a lot of doors for me as well.
I think that's really great and it makes me even more excited for college. Our next question for you is, what does STEM mean to you?
Personally, I'm more involved on the science side of STEM, but I'm currently more involved in neuroscience, which has wonderful intersections with the other fields as well. And personally, what neuroscience and science means to me is being able to understand what I am as a human and also how can science function in society. So, I mean, on a daily basis, when I'm engaged with research in lab settings, I'm thinking about issues such as traumatic brain injury or learning about attention and memory and why that's important. And I personally find it important to reflect on what I'm learning at the moment and what I'm working on because of the implications of not just the research, but it's really an honor to be involved in science that's cutting edge science, basically. And I find it very useful to picture that what I'm currently working on at the moment could impact hundreds, thousands, and millions maybe someday. So science is really great to me, and that even small scale efforts that people like us are involved in can go a very long way when you think of all the work we put in as teams of scientists and beyond. So it's great that science and STEM at Broad can go out and be shared with the public and really enlighten our lives and make a difference.
That's so interesting, and I think it's really unique how you combine STEM with like teamwork and so many different aspects, that it's not just technology and engineering, but like how it connects to a lot of other things. So my next question is, what are some really cool things that people in your profession work on?
So spoiler alert, I am in no way an established STEM professional because I'm still in college. But I can talk a little bit about different paths and avenues that I've seen people I know go into as careers in neuroscience, for example. The things that we tend to think of mainly when we think of post-undergrad careers usually tend to go into graduate programs or med programs where people might pursue master's or PhDs or MD degrees, or even better, make it an MD PhD degree. And we mostly see that people work in academia as researchers and running different laboratories as principal investigators, or some people go into clinical settings where they're actively helping individuals with neurological conditions, for example. And so I personally really love academia and clinical. It's something that I find very near and dear to me. But outside of the traditional settings that we see in neuroscience, there's honestly a wonderful list of things you can be involved in. I have seen people who are involved in neuro art, for example. So they are basically doing graphic design, they're science illustrators, and many of the images that we might see in textbooks or really high profile presentations by scientists are really based on neuro art. Another field that I find really important is science policy and science communication, especially with neuroscience, since it's a very complicated field in terms of terminology and all of the jargon. It's really useful to have that connection bridging scientists to the general public. And so science communication is really important these days. And I'll end with another field that I find super interesting, which is neuro and law. The intersection is neuro law. So if you think of cases such as artificial intelligence or ethics in neuroscience, what does it mean to have brain death or be in a coma? Things like that can be translated into settings in the courtroom where those issues come up and you have neuro lawyers in the way. So there's honestly an absolute myriad of ways to be involved in neuroscience beyond college. And this is part of the reason why I really encourage students to get into interdisciplinary fields and look at neuroscience and STEM in general with more than just a science or biology or tech or engineering lens, to really look outside of that bubble.
Wow, that's really great. I had never even thought of the so many possibilities and intersections between science itself. Is there any other advice you would like to give students listening?
Definitely. I would say one of my biggest points of advice is to truly explore as much as you can in college. And I strongly believe that exploring beyond what you come into college thinking you want to do is important, because it might honestly change your mind. I'm thinking of off the top of my head, last semester I took a core class as part of Columbia's core curriculum that was a writing-based class. But in the process, I was able to look into something that was interesting to me, which was looking at medicine and how it can intersect with theater. So looking into things like that is honestly very eye-opening. I'd never really considered looking at the intersection of medicine with other fields, for example, before I took that class. And now it's something that I'm looking to engage more with in the future through other classes in college. So maybe you will take a class that will spark a change in your life. You might switch majors, you might go join an amazing club and just fell in love with the idea of whatever that organization is doing. There's honestly, you can do anything. The world is yours in college, I feel. So take advantage of that time. It's one of the most flexible periods you will have in your life, and so truly take advantage of that time to explore.
That's great. It really makes me like more open-minded about like learning about new things and seeing what I'm interested in, not just like being focused on one thing. So yeah, you're a huge inspiration, and we're so grateful to have you here on our panel.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you both, and I'm really excited to share with others.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We hope you learned a lot, and we definitely got so much advice and insight into Chinmayi and what it's like to be a college student pursuing a STEM career.